Welcome back. Part 19 in this series on building a completely automated video editing pipeline. If you haven't been watching so far, the goal here is to go from making a screen recording like the one you're watching, using OBS Studio, dragging it into Dropbox, OneDrive, and then this pipeline does a full video editing treatment on this, fixing the audio, making shorts, full videos, social media content, thumbnails, whole bit. So it's working well. Last night, I did a whole bunch of testing on this. I actually ran it on the first 10 or 11 videos on this series because I want to start publishing them. So doing a lot of bulk testing like that, teased out a lot of issues. So I just worked on a few bugs and things which are not too interesting to sort of share. What I found doing all this testing was having the retry logic was paramount. So it's good that we built that because you can see these are some of the videos I ran. The main thing that was failing was the thumbnail generation. So I kept getting this error from Google, code 409, resource exhausted, please try again later. Please refer to this URL for details. So this is interesting. I think this is kind of a tacit admission from Google that they're pretty overloaded with AI requests. So I'm doing the pay-as-you-go thing. But then interestingly enough, one of the things it recommends is implement a retry strategy by using truncated exponential backoff. If you remember, when I wrote the PRD for the image generation, I asked for exactly that, an exponential backoff. So that actually has worked. So a lot of these worked on retry. What I will probably do is increase the timing on the retries. So the code is down here. There you go. Retry loop with time amount and exponential backoff. So you can see there, it's like 30 seconds times 2 times the attempt. So that's going to go on the second time. Times 2 is going to get you 30 seconds. And that will be attempt 1, which will give 60. And then attempt 2 will give 120. So all I need to do is maybe bump this up. I'm thinking could probably actually just do that. So that would then go, yeah, exactly. Exactly what Copilot's putting in, 3090 270. I may go longer because ultimately once this is deployed and I'm not monitoring it, I don't really care how long this takes. But yeah, a lot of image failures. I think I mentioned in one of the videos as well, I'm noticing it's busier in the evening. So I was running this in the evenings. I'm tending to get more success with this in the day. So the rerun logic was good here. The resume works, so I hadn't tested that. So wherever it fails, I had a couple of issues with some other things, mainly on Windows, fixing up a lot of minor things for Windows. So just being able to go hit resume and it picks up from step 5 wherever it's failed is key. That's all good. You can see there's still a couple of failures. I'm testing a couple of things, but it's working. It's all working well. Let's go back to the notes, not save that. So yeah, retries. Worked on some Windows-specific bugs. Processing mode default. So if you remember, I started off doing sort of screen recordings from OBS of me with my webcam in the corner, and then halfway through, I've kind of moved to this sort of split screen thing where the videos that OBS are recording have me on the left, me on the right. So that is coded in with 2 modes, processing mode default, processing mode split screen. Because I've been more working in split screen, there were a couple of bugs with default, which I needed to fix to run the first 7 or 8 videos in the series through and get those rendered. So that's working. Google Gen AI rejecting image requests, covered that. some tiny little UI and script fixes here or there. Other thing I've done is a complete reorganization on the folder. So it was getting a bit messy. When I started this project, I was thinking this was going to be a repository of multiple spikes, but this is big enough to kind of exist on its own now. So all the code is under source, and then stuff like the configuration and the workspace where it's, you know, creating all the files, intermediary videos is separate. Where I want to get to is the configuration is actually part of where I drop the images. So what that would mean is, say I offer this as a service, that configuration is something that will be specific per channel. So for me, fonts, guide images for the image generation, LUTs for color grading, any bumpers, that kind of thing, that's all kind of specific to a specific channel. Whereas the code could, in theory, work for any channel that wanted this kind of processing. So I've just done that kind of proactively to have this separation of concerns between what is configuration and what is code. So then the theory is the code actually doesn't have anything in it that knows about what the videos are and specific styles or outcomes. That's all driven by the configuration. So big refactor. The backend was messy, so Claude had kind of built all the scripts with the pipeline, and then it had created the API separately, and they were like two separate sort of Python runtimes. So that's all moved into one now. So there's just one batch of Python. I'm calling it backend because me running the scripts on my own is I'm not gonna be doing that much longer because I can click this and debug through the UI and do a rerun. I won't need to be running the scripts too much anymore. So I'll only use the back end. And then the front end is all under there. That's running here. So yeah, that's where we got up to. Narrative analysis. So one little prompt I threw at Claude last night was, hey, bake in the narrative analysis into the UI. So if you look here on each video, it's pulled out the score that Anthropic call has done to Sonnet, where it's sort of ranked the video. So most of these are coming in the kind of 7 range. I just deleted one. I ran this on one of the test videos, like the 1 minute long ones, and that came out like 1.4. So it definitely gives a variation of scoring. And given all these videos in this series are kind of just me talking to camera like this, I'd expect these to kind of get the same amount of the same level of scores. Once I start doing different styles of video better than these, then we'll see what the score does. If we jump into one of these, I did a little reorganization on the tabs. So the pipeline is now in the tabs, and then once generate content finishes and shorts and everything, you get all the outputs in different tabs, which we're going to look through in a moment. You can see that score at the top. The analysis is last. We'll get to that. Still great having all these log outputs. That's really useful. So if there is a failure, I can just go in this, as you saw earlier, and go, oh, Google's failed. This is why. So that's going to be great for monitoring observability. So content, I think you saw this in the previous video, still great. I need to do a copy button on the tags. I may bring the tags up so they're nearer the top. Longer term, it won't be a problem because once we get automated publishing going, I won't be touching any of this. Social posts, so Twitter threads, LinkedIn posts, all great. Some of the tone in these, I think I mentioned in some of the other videos, it's not quite right. It's not what I would write and post on LinkedIn. That I'm confident I can fix that. That's just tweaking the prompt. Shorts, hadn't shown this, so all the shorts that generate now load in here. It's gotten a mess with this approval concept, so I need to clean this up one way or another. And then there are problems with the content of the shorts. I'll touch on in a moment. All that analysis it does of like, hey, I think this bit is a good short, publish this one. That's all there. It explains what the short is about, and I can see and play them all back. You can see the actual shorts are working well. The captions are baking in correctly. There was a bug. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. There's still problems with the shorts, and I'll talk about those when I talk about the bug. But in terms of reviewing these, this is great. I'll definitely not let this publish all the ones it generates. Some are going to be junk. Like, they're not going to do me any favors in terms of trying to build up engaging content on both YouTube and TikTok. So that's still in the to-do list. Thumbnail, you can see this one. This is an error, so that's clearly nothing like me. I think it hasn't picked up my reference images because I've done this refactor, so I'll go and fix that in the background. And then finally, the analysis. So I just said, hey, add a new tab, present all that analysis nicely. And I started having a read of this and thinking, is it actually worth processing its recommendations? So especially things like cuts. So you can see here, tangent, 1 minute 56 to 2:01, so 5 seconds. Brief aside about killing a mosquito mid-sentence. Pure tangent, cut entirely. Now, I disagree with this, and I'll tell you why. Part of what I want to do with this channel is not try and come off like this ultra prepared vanilla YouTube presenter where essentially what I'm saying is I want to keep my personality in this. I think it's key. I think it's key to building an audience. So me making a joke about killing a mosquito is actually exactly the kind of thing I want in these videos. Some of you who, watch these videos are going to be like, oh, he's making a joke about killing a mosquito. Unsubscribe, stop watching. Fine. You're not the audience I want. As I say, I want this having my personality in it. So that's a prompt. Again, when it does the analysis prompt, I can just say, hey, don't recommend cuts on things like this. But there's other cuts it makes, other cuts it recommends, like this one, repetition. Host notes scripts can now call this instead of passing quality settings directly, repeats what was already established. So this is interesting because that kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, that could be a good cut. And then it sort of summarizes the cuts there. In this case, there's just the two. Suggested reorders. I'm not sure about these because what I was doing, now I have this on screen, is I loaded the video up and I played these segments of the video and went, would it actually work? Like if I just went, yeah, do the cuts, and it went and did these. So I'm watching a bit before that timestamp and a bit towards the end, and I'm like, it could make the video a bit awkward to watch. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep this in the UI. I think it's useful. It's useful for me as feedback, but I'm not gonna act on any of this stuff yet. But it's certainly cool to have it. What will be probably more interesting is like if that score suddenly tanks or goes up, I'll be like, oh, what have I done that has led this to believe this is a better content? Now, ultimately, I don't care about this. The only thing I care about is like really watch time on YouTube. Watch time on YouTube is the score. So if you look at those watch time graphs and you see people start watching and then immediately abandon you, that's the ultimate score. Is it interesting? I don't think any of these videos are. I'm not expecting any of these videos to get great watch time. And on that metric, this would be low. So yeah, that's probably enough to talk about with the narrative analysis. Let's take a quick look at some of these thumbnails. So just showed you that one. Some of the earlier ones, all the earlier ones were done with before I did the folder reorg, so they are correct in terms of they picked up my source image. So this one, what was this one about? my pipeline generated shorts in the wrong format. Here's the fix I'm planning. There you go. It's picked out wrong format. I can see on the screen it says short video candidates, but that's way too small for YouTube to be relevant. But it's totally working. So from a perspective of understanding what the video is about and creating a prompt that is contextual to the content of the video and then generating a thumbnail from it, it's working 100%. I'll show you some of the others. 7, generate content. I built an AI that reviews my own video. It gave me 7.4 out of 10. Thumbnail. That one's pretty generic, just me looking kind of dazed. I think we just did generate shorts. Narrative analysis. That's failed. What I might do, I'll click a rerun on that, and we'll see if it actually fixes it while I'm looking at some of the other ones. There might be a bug here. When it does the rerun, you see the step have a timer icon, so the front end knows that the back end's running, and then you can watch sort of as it processes the steps. I think I've broken it though with the refactor, so I'll come back to that. Number 5, OBS overview. Look at that. So there's me, and it's got OBS on screen, and it's got that not problem, but the thing I was commenting on, that because I was screen recording OBS, you get this video of a video of a video of a video. So amazing. Amazing that this has worked and done that kind of thing. For bug fixes and alerts, what's it saying here? I used Vimeo to bulletproof my video AI pipeline. That won't be the title I go with. Debugging my AI video pipeline. What's it got? Now, this one's really cool. So the start of this video, at the very start, I go, I'm outside, it's humid, I'm on my deck, I've got the fan blowing, I've smashed 2 cans of Diet Coke. So it's just picked that up and gone, okay, let's pop him on the deck, Diet Coke, fan, outside. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is great. This is really, really great. Number 3, what do we got? Audio. So you can see there, it's got the WAV file of the audio. Number 2, code setup and silence detection with an error. What's the title? I built an AI video editing pipeline and leaked my API key on camera. You think I'm not going to publish this with that title? And then number 1, the intro, that's failed. So I need to push that along. That'll be a resume. I won't do that now. So you can see what this is doing. It's totally working. Once I start making actually better content videos rather than these kind of just live tutorials, they'll go through this, and I'm gonna expect a similar outcome in terms of, thumbnails, titles, all this stuff just working, which it is. Now, having said all of this, the thumbnails are not good. So as much as I like the style, I don't think these are good thumbnails for YouTube. They're way too detailed. Like, thumbnails need to read small, and you instantly kind of know what it's about. So let's go to YouTube. Let's look at some thumbnails. As an example, like over here, top right, Veritasium. I know this channel, huge channel, been going years. Look at it. It's one simple image and one word, hacked. Scroll down, Sam Harris, 2 heads, text in the middle. He could probably do a better style, but it's certainly better, I think, than what I've currently got. Then we've got some junk thumbnails. This one, our friend here, Nate B. Jones, I watch his videos. So again, very simple. Him, emotional expression, caught. This is really where I need to track to. So, Diary of a CEO, he's got this format where, the text is just boom. There is a kind of, in this case, 4-word hook. I know that's kind of a words in the middle, but it's really an image, the whole lawyer, coder, writer crossed out, and then him and the person he's interviewing. Brilliant format for his channel. But the point is these are really easy to visually read. Like you can look at the thumbnail and you know what the video is about, or at least it's saying, hey, come in, watch. So all those principles that I've just kind of distilled, if you like, in looking at some of these thumbnails, I need to go back and bake those into these videos. I'm a little unsure about the text. I'm paranoid about letting Nano Banana generate the text because I think it will just stuff up. But it's incredibly easy to overlay text on the graphic afterwards. Like I could process that with something like the Magic CLI library and just go, hey, render this text over at the top. I mean, even FFmpeg can do it. That you've seen me do that with the shorts where I've gone, hey, here's a specific font, overlay some text. So wondering about that, I'm certainly confident Nano Banana can, get me on the left side of the thumbnail looking dazed or angry or whatever. And then some of this background imagery that sort of reinforces the theme of the video, as cool as I think it is, it may be worth dialing this down and going towards something that reads a little more simply. So not sure. All room for improvement. And as I've mentioned before, the whole point with this is you tweak it once and then it's improved for the whole pipeline, which is what I love about these kind of systems. Okay, so that's how front end's looking. Touched on that. Narrative analysis, how are we doing for time? 22 minutes. Bulk testing, as I say, I converted all the series. Thumbnail, yep, just covered this on the thumbnails. I tweaked the color and hair in the prompt. So I don't know if you remember from one of the previous videos that Nano Banana prompt had, a man in his late 40s with salt and pepper hair. I took that out. I'm like, I'm growing, but not that much. And also the color, I had that thing about, warm magenta blue tones. It was a bit messy. So I just took the color out and went, you decide the color, Nano Banana, which it's doing. So I think that's giving better results. Cut silence. So this is another thing that still needs work. It's still too aggressive. It's cutting off the end of my words. Also, it's inconsistent. Like sometimes it does lots of cuts. Usually at the same the same segment of a video. But then there's other parts of the video where it won't touch it. I'm wondering if it's impacted by background noise. Because the other thing I noticed having watched some of these videos is the videos I was recording outside, and I apologize, some of the background noise probably got in the way of the silence detection. When there's noise, I'm not going to cut it. So there's probably more silence to cut than it's actually cutting because of that background noise. What I'm going to do, I'm going to Google this problem and go, I don't know where the microphone is on the MacBook. So when I find that, I'll do some tests and figure out how I can do like a windshield so you won't get that background noise. Otherwise, I've got a lavalier. I don't even know if this is compatible with the Mac. I could plug that in, put that on my lapel. Very easy to do. I'll test this. If this is better, I'll start using this. Otherwise, if I'm in here, I have this thing, proper Rode microphone, mixing desk here, USB plug in there. This will be way better audio. But that's only if I'm in here. So yeah, silence needs a bit of work. And then the last thing I'll touch on, because it's kind of the least interesting thing, big bug with captions. So this was interesting. So the problem I had was the captions were just rendering out of sync with what I was saying. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? Hard one to debug. I'm like, I don't know if Claude or any of the other models could like debug what's on screen in the video, as in analyze the video and go, oh, there's a caption. It's out of sync with what he's saying. Even if it can, and I'm sure some AI could, I don't want to be running videos through AI. I just think the context it would eat in doing video analysis would be insane. Hence why much of this pipeline doesn't touch AI in terms of video processing. I'm sure it could get way more powerful if I was running videos through AI. But if you look at platforms like Kling, all these platforms that are generating videos, they're giving you 10 seconds. They're not giving you 40 minutes. So I don't think anyone at scale is spitting out 40-minute videos purely with AI yet. And if they are, they've got a big bill. Darren Aronofsky, director, I believe he's made an entire film with AI. You can Google that. So this bug, I had to trawl through all the metadata. So I looked at the caption file generated at the end. I'm looking at the manifest and the timings in this. I'm comparing the timestamps of what the transcription had got with what's in the video. So this was kind of the debugging, of at that time, am I actually saying what was in the transcript? Did a bit of debugging, and then basically what I found, pretty straightforward. What was happening was the script that does the transcripting, number 4, this was running off the audio pre-trim. So if you remember how this works, process footage goes extract the video, then we go number 2, detect the silence, and then number 3, chop the silence. And after it's chopped, the video that comes out of number 3 is what the shorts are generated off. So at that point, your audio is already trimmed, and then generate transcript was going, no, just upload the original audio. Hence, it would have been out of sync. So the fix for this is I just get process footage to, sorry, no, that isn't the right fix. The fix is I get recompose to do not just a trim on the video, but a separate trim on the audio. So it spits out a truncated audio WAV file as well as the truncated video, and then generate transcript picks up the truncated audio rather than the original audio, and that fixed it instantly. So a bit gnarly. Those were my notes, fixing the bugs. Interested in your thoughts, like if you think I could have got Claude to do that. It probably took me 20 minutes to figure it out. Not sure. But yeah, that's where we're at. Last thing I'll touch on, tasks. I did a big cleanup on the task list. I've written a few more PRDs we'll get into. Let's look at this. I kind of did a project to do at the top just to track the overall pieces of what we're working on. So I'm going to look at social media, maybe not next. I may look at overlays next. I want to look at motion detection, but it probably won't go anywhere. And then on the to-dos, as I mentioned, silence, timestamps, too aggressive, still to do. Short captions offset too much from audio, fix, that's what I just talked about. Shorts are a bit shit. Yeah, I was going to talk about this. So the cuts it's doing, some of them are a little, like they'll start playing and they don't really give context because obviously they're just cut straight out of the middle of a video. So the whole idea with this was that narrative analysis where it's detecting the shorts, the idea is for it to try and find self-contained segments in the transcript where you start watching it and it kind of makes sense in isolation. In reality, a lot of the shorts it's generating are just like, pick any moment in the video and I'm talking about something and you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? So this is why, a lot of those shorts it's generating, I won't use. But like some, it's spitting out like 10 to 11 shorts. So lots to choose from. What I'm thinking it needs that would alleviate this problem is some kind of opening hook in text on the front of the shorts before the captions start playing. So if we go back to my friend here on TikTok, let's have a look at this. So he's doing exactly this. So you see how it said Claude code is OP. That's what I mean. That's his hook, and then it goes into the transcripts. So I think this will solve it. So all I need to do is get the prompt that generates the content to go, for each hook it recommends, go give me like a max 6-word hook that I can plant right up at the front before the transcript starts saying. So it'll be like, okay, get that hook, render it in the middle, swap it for whatever the first transcript would be, and then let the transcripts play. So that'll be an interesting one to work on. I'll do a video on that because that could be a bit hairy. All the styling we did on the captions, what I'll probably do is get it to render the shorts slightly differently. So where it's got that kind of white text on black background, maybe I'll do like yellow text on black background or some other color, just so it stands out as a hook. And then we'll let these captions play as normal. And then I think it's pretty good. Like, again, I've killed the need for a video editor. I don't need to employ or spend the hour trawling through my 40-minute video to spit out, in this case, however many, 10 shorts, which was the whole goal. So it's doing its job. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. 32 minutes. These videos aren't getting any shorter. One more thing. Video 4. As I went through these videos, I've realized video 4 is corrupt. So the footage for video 4, unfortunately, is only me and the webcam. The screen is frozen. Ironic, because I was talking in a previous video about OBS being reliable. And then I Googled this, and sure enough, there's people going, oh, I've got these problems on Mac with the screen capture freezing. It's going to be kind of a pre-flight check for me with when I hit record that I need to move the mouse around and make sure the screen capture is still working. But unfortunately for video number 4, the footage is lost. I'm still going to upload it. I'm going to record a little intro and explain what happened. But that one's going to be a bit shit to watch. Unfortunately, them's the breaks. Part of the problems with the video production process. Okay, we'll tie it off there. Not sure what the next video is going to be about. I'll decide now, but I will see you in the next one.